On a pitch-dark and gloomy night, a frightening scream tore through the sky. This voice belonged to the Dark Fairy, who had been cast out by the Royal Council years ago because of her uncontrolled and dangerous powers. The Fairy Council warned her many times, but the Dark Fairy did not stop using her magic for evil. The Fairy Council warned her many times, but she still continued to use her magic for evil purposes. In the end, the kind-hearted fairies realized they could no longer stop her terrible anger. Escaping the Dark Fairy's curse would not be easy at all. The kind king and queen of the kingdom would sometimes feel sad because of the one thing missing in their hearts, despite having everything. They wished very much to have a baby and silently prayed to the stars every night. Then one morning, with the fresh light of spring, their wished-for miracle finally came true. The queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. They named the little princess Sunlight, the one who brightens all darkness. The king and queen wanted to share this joy with everyone and decided to hold a grand celebration. Along with neighboring kings, queens, and people from all over the land, all the kind-hearted fairies were invited to the grand celebration. But in all that joy and excitement, there was one person who was not invited. The guests gave little Princess Sunlight many precious gifts and kind wishes. Finally, 5 fairies stepped forward one by one to give their magical gifts. With their shining wands, they gifted the princess beauty, grace, generosity, confidence, and courage. Then the Wind Fairy stepped forward.
My gift to you is that all goodness in the world will guide your path.
And my gift is endless happiness that will stay with you all your life.
Then it was Spark Fairy's turn. Just as she was about to raise her magic wand, suddenly a thick green smoke filled the entire hall. Windows and doors slammed, and the howling wind filled the room. The green smoke slowly cleared, and everyone stared in fear, because the one who appeared from the smoke was the evil Dark Fairy herself. The joy in the hall froze in an instant. All the fairies, knowing her well, lowered their heads and whispered anxiously. The Dark Fairy looked around with a mocking smile.
I see that all your people, your friends, and of course these lovely fairies are here. Only I was not invited.
Of course we did not invite you, because you choose to use your great power for evil instead of good.
But despite your rudeness, I will not deny you my special gift.
She stepped dangerously toward the princess's cradle.
Beautiful princess, you will grow up in happiness, and everyone will admire and love you.
The guests held their breath and watched her in fear. Everyone sighed in relief, but the Dark Fairy had not finished speaking.
But before the sun sets on your 16th birthday, your finger will be pricked by a magical needle, and sunlight will be gone.
Guards, catch her!
But the Dark Fairy vanished into green smoke. The king stood frozen in horror. The entire castle fell into deep silence.
Come on, Spark Fairy. You can stop this spell. Do what you must.
Spark Fairy was not as powerful as the Dark Fairy, so she hesitated at first.
Your heart is filled with a love greater than that endless hatred. Spark Fairy, please do your best. For my daughter.
My dear princess, the Dark Fairy's curse will prick your finger with a needle, but do not be afraid. You will not die. You will fall into a deep sleep, and you will awaken with true love.
The king ordered all needles, spinning wheels, and looms across the land to be gathered to protect his daughter. The king entrusted the princess's safety to 3 fairies. Sunlight met no one except the 3 fairies and had no friends. For the 3 fairies, hiding the truth became very difficult and tiring over time. But sadly, time passed mercilessly. Princess Sunlight's 16th birthday had arrived. Only a few hours remained until sunset for the curse to come true. The king and queen locked her in the highest tower to protect her. Sunlight could not understand why her parents acted this way on her birthday. Sadly, she watched the sunset from her small window. Suddenly, a mysterious door appeared on the wall. Strange creaking sounds came from behind the door. Unaware of what would happen, she stepped inside curiously. In the dim room, an old woman was working with a spinning wheel. She had never seen one before and touched the shining fabric with wonder.
Oh, I wish I had a dress like this. Is it for me?
Just then, a hidden needle pricked her finger. The princess fell into a deep, endless sleep with a tremble that shook the whole kingdom. At that moment, the servants tried to remove the needle with fear and tears. But no one succeeded. The princess was dressed in her finest clothes and gently laid on a silk bed covered with fresh flowers. The king and queen realized they could not bear this pain any longer. After asking a fairy, they decided that everyone in the castle would fall into a deep sleep until Princess Sunlight woke up. And so, the whole castle fell into a magical silence where time stood still. 100 years passed. Seasons, kings, and even kingdoms changed. The grand castle became hidden behind thick thorns and giant vines. One day, a brave prince passed through this lonely land on his horse. He noticed the castle from afar and stopped. The prince turned and continued on his way. But that night, he could not sleep peacefully. He had a strange dream he could not forget. When he woke up, he was out of breath. The old legend became his mission. Without telling anyone, he set off. But the thorns were impossible to pass. The prince never thought of giving up. After many long and tiring hours, he finally pushed through the thorny bushes and reached the huge palace gate. He saw 2 guards lying on the ground in a deep sleep. He pushed the door open and could not believe what he saw. Everywhere, people were sleeping exactly where they were, without moving. Stewards in the garden, servants on the stairs. The prince began walking through the palace in amazement. First, he went to the king and queen's room. They too were asleep on their thrones. Then he saw a dim room with a half-open door and walked in, his heart beating fast. This was the room of Sleeping Beauty from the legend. A soft, pale light coming through the window made gentle patterns over the sleeping princess. The prince decided to cut the vines by the window to let more sunlight in. Then he turned to Sleeping Beauty. The prince's shadow fell over the princess with the sunlight. For 100 years, no one had come this close to her. For 100 years, no human shadow had touched her. Without fear, the prince knelt beside her and gently held her hands. At that moment, he noticed the needle in her finger. The prince pulled the needle out in one quick move, something no one else could do. The needle shattered into tiny pieces. At that moment, the curse was broken, and Sleeping Beauty slowly opened her eyes. She saw the brave prince standing before her, holding his pure love without fear. And the silence of 100 years was replaced with the joyful sounds of life in the palace. The king and queen rushed to the princess's room to see what had happened. When they saw their daughter awake, they hugged each other with joy. The prince knelt down with great respect.
My dear princess, in this magical light that brought us together, I want to offer you my endless love. Will you marry me?
Yes! I would love to fill the whole kingdom with joy again, together with you.
A few years passed. Sunlight and the prince were married in a grand and beautiful wedding. The whole kingdom filled with joy and celebration, as if making up for those long years of sleep. And this great joy was what finally ended the dark fairy's power. From that day on, she understood that using her power for good was even stronger than spells made with anger for 100 years.